the people watching know enough about the show now. They can know enough about me if they go to my YouTube channel. There's hours of content there. But what I got feedback on is that we don't know enough about you, Jay.
So I started lifting at around like 2015-ish.
Okay.
Right before we went to Goa, actually, after our like 10th grade board exams.
Oh, the infamous
Yeah.
post 10th grade Goa trip.
So I started working out in my room with like just a couple bands, a pull-up bar, and just some push-ups, right? I used to do that for a while. And I've tried like many sports before. Like I've tried football, I've tried tennis, I've tried basketball. And I eventually like quit all of that stuff. I don't know. I just wasn't committed to it. I wasn't having fun with it. I was just really not interested with it. So when I wanted to start lifting, because you were lifting a lot, so that kind of like got me into like the culture and stuff.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, I was like, yo, I want to sign up to a gym. I want to go to the gym. He's like, okay, that's fine. Why don't you go to Breach Candy first, Breach Candy Club, because they had a gym. And if you go there for a year and you stick with working out and you don't quit, then you can get a proper gym membership or whatever. So fast forward 2 years, I went to like Breach Candy every single day. I was a huge fan because at that time, I think like, during our 10th boards, we had so many tuitions, we had exams, we had tests, we had pressure from like all sides. And the gym was really somewhere that I could go to get away from that structure and have zero accountability to anyone else but myself. So, and I felt that was super important for me, man, because I was not the most academic kid. I would like mess around, not pay attention, just do a bunch of shit. And then,
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
In the 9th grade, do you remember you failed an exam?
Oh, I did. I failed my Hindi
and
exam.
they told you that if you don't pass it, that you have to stay back in the 9th grade.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was so scared for that. I was so scared about that. I actually called you right after that.
Yeah, you call. So Jay calls me and he's like, dude, like they're telling me I'll have to stay back in the 9th grade if I don't pass this exam. And this was during exams. I think we had like our finals for the 9th grade or whatever. And I was like, dude, no chance I'm going to the 10th grade without you.
No, this is still like the nicest thing anyone has ever done for me, dude. Like this dude took out like a good month, I think, and used to come to my house every single day and make me, read like the Hindi stuff. But shit like that, right? Like there was a lot of pressure and I wasn't necessarily like the most academic kid. But it was really good for me to kind of get structure and do something that I actually wanted to do for once, And then I went to university at UMass.
Okay, let's slow down a little bit. So I want to know, those first 2 years of gymming, I feel, get you so, like, I don't know, they change a person, I feel.
100%, yeah.
So what was like the biggest change you saw in yourself that even other people were noticing? Like your parents, I don't know.
I would honestly say that I just became comfortable with being myself a little more. And I know that's very vague, but like I was a pretty skinny kid. I had a lot of friends, great friends, but I was never like empowered to be my fullest self until I kind of started to do something that I really, really wanted to do, and not something that, my parents had told me to do or my teachers had told me to do or what everyone else was kind of doing. So I feel like that really helped me out a lot.
Like
to
you
just
made
kind of
your
like
own
recenter
decision.
myself, Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, so you go to college now, you're in college and you're still lifting every day.
I'm still lifting every day, but the only change was, so I stepped into the gym, right? And at this point, like I lifted pretty heavy and I wasn't big, but like I was bigger than, what I was. And I got humbled so quick, dude. So quick. Like I remember walking into the gym and we used to watch a lot of fitness YouTube. And until then, I had never seen anyone have like a 5-plate squat. That was the first thing I saw when I walked into this gym.
For the listeners who maybe don't go to the gym, how much is a 5-plate squat?
It's like 585.
585 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight, dude.
Wow.
So I walked into the gym and this dude's wrapping 5 plates on squats. And I was just like, wow. Like, I want to do that.
Okay.
And so I asked around and I was like, hey man, like, what do you do? Like, how do you train and stuff? So he's like, oh, I'm on the powerlifting team. And I was like, sick. Like, where do I sign up? and then I went to a meeting. I had to like pay my dues and like learn about all this stuff. And
what did you know about powerlifting before you went there? Did you know anything, or did you just think it was like a gym club?
Lift heavy things, and that was about it. It's much deeper, but that's what I knew at the start. It was just lift heavy. That's it. But you know, in saying that, there's so much more that goes into powerlifting as like a method, you know. So you really have to like, it's very skill based.
Yeah.
So squat, bench, deadlift. The objective is to lift the heaviest on those 3 lifts throughout the competition, right? So how I used to train for that was very specific, but you know me, I couldn't get rid of that bodybuilding side to me. So when I went into my first competition,
let's explain to them the difference between how you train for bodybuilding, what that does, and how you train for powerlifting.
Because it is pretty relevant. Like it's a huge shift in training style. So I think up until that point, I was training 6 days a week, push pull legs, like push pull legs break, push pull legs break, nonstop. Super fun training style, crazy pumps, all of that stuff. But with powerlifting, you have to be really, really specific. So I couldn't do like the normal like bench press and then 5 sets of like accessories and then 10 sets of like curls, push downs, whatever. I had to be really, really specific. And I wasn't specific going into my first competition as a 66 kg lifter.
What is a competition?
Well, it's basically like, you know, you get a bunch of strong people in the room. You find out who's the strongest according to your weight class.
So had you done a competition before this?
I hadn't. This was my first competition ever.
You were clearly unprepared for this.
I was very unprepared. Yeah.
And how did it go?
So it was actually great. I placed 3rd. But that wasn't due to like, I was pretty strong going into it, and this was like a regional competition. So it wasn't like too big anyway. I did have like a rude awakening because I thought I was massive. Okay, for 66 kgs, I was massive.
Yeah.
And I stepped into this gym and I saw this dude that I knew was my competition. Like I'd seen him lift before. And he'd always been wearing these like big baggy like track pants or whatever. I knew he was like a really small, tiny kid. And I was like, dude, I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him down. We were wearing the same t-shirt because it's like competition standard. And I just looked at him. I'm like, okay, what's up, man? What's up? And then as soon as we started lifting, he took these track pants off. I knew I was going to lose.
Damn.
I knew I was going to lose. Like the size of this dude's legs. God damn, dude. Like he out-totaled me by so much that I might as well have not been in the same weight class as him. It was crazy.
So out-total means...
he lifted more on pretty much every single exercise that it wasn't even fair.
And he beat you by like a huge
He beat
margin.
me by a lot.
Damn.
I can't even remember, but it was a lot.
Okay, so what happens next? So you've joined powerlifting, you've done your first meet, I wouldn't say you failed, but you didn't do You didn't do well.
Yeah, I didn't do well, but I kind of learned from that. And I'm glad I didn't do well.
Yeah.
Because I came back and I just kind of retooled up a little bit. So I cut out an extra day of bodybuilding training, which was honestly the most painful thing I had to do, but it was necessary because it let me focus on squat, bench, deadlift specifically. So instead of doing my main compound movement, I would do 2 compound movements and then 1 accessory for both. But eventually I kind of realized that I needed to put all my eggs into the powerlifting basket. So when I went for my second competition at 66 kgs, I placed 2nd. And the margin wasn't as big as like the first person. So it was pretty good. But then the thing that like haunted me was I was pretty much skinny all my life. And a big reason for me to train was to like get bigger and like, you know, just get jacked, you know? Yeah. So I wanted to move. Do you feel like it
gave you a sense of like power that you were like, you know, that you really wanted?
No, you know, people would assume that, but it really just gave me confidence to be more of myself. Like, and it wasn't artificial at all. Like, I genuinely gained a deeper understanding for myself through lifting.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, it doesn't come overnight, but it was like, I mean, in 2 to 3 years, you spend by yourself at the gym every single day, you're going to find out stuff about yourself. So either you like it or you don't. And I mean, if you don't like it, you're going to have to change it.
As an outsider looking at you, I always thought at least the stimulus for you going to the gym was maybe because you felt very, very weak as a kid. You were bullied. I remember this like in your older days. And that's what led to it. But it's cool to see that like that's not the result of what happened. You know?
I think a lot of people will go into the gym for like very, very like personal reasons, like, oh, I was bullied, oh, I didn't have confidence, oh, like I asked this girl out and she said no, whatever. And then you go to the gym, you get bigger, and the end result is you just having a really good time and just finding out more about yourself. It's great. I feel like a lot of lifters go through that process of like one traumatic event, and then they'll go to the gym, completely forget about that event, and then just become different people after it. So it's great.
That's honestly the way it happened to me as well.
Yeah, no, I know. So it just kind of flows, man. You just gotta let it take you where it's gonna take you.
Yeah.
But so when I came home after that semester, I was encouraged by a bunch of my lifting buddies to move up in weight from 66 to 74 kgs.
Okay.
And that was a big jump for me. So I started eating a lot.
Why did they encourage that?
Well, because, you know, there's a certain element of like, if you get bigger, you get stronger. Like a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle to a certain extent. And yeah, who doesn't like being, you know, big and jacked?
Did you go up to 74
I
kilos?
did go up to 74.
And you re-entered a competition?
I re-entered at 74, yeah.
Got it. And did you perform better? Did you place better?
I did. Well, I placed about the same for my first 74 kg competition. I was second in my weight class and third overall for men's.
Oh,
so
sick.
It was a super fun time, man.
Tell me more about this competition. Like, who all are taking part in it? Is it like a college thing?
It's basically just a bunch of universities who run the competition. So a bunch of us have teams from the region, like from Massachusetts, and then everyone just comes and sends their best lifters, and they all compete against each other. So it was so much fun meeting other powerlifters from other schools, and just you essentially spend the entire day with everyone. And it's great.
So even though you go as a team, you're competing alone.
You're competing alone, but you always have like a handler or like a coach on the sidelines. Shout out to my college roommate. He came with me in every single competition that he could. I would wake his ass up at 5 a.m. He would come with me. He would get monsters with me, cheer me on, film me. Like,
wow.
It was great, man. That was great.
What's his name?
Yeah. You know who he is. No. This was I think this was in 2018, 2019.
Tell them the story of your first roommate.
Oh yeah, no, okay. So my first roommate, I got like the email. I think everyone gets the email about like a month out.
Yeah.
And I was with you when I got the email, and I was like, yo, this dude's name is Angel. And you were like, it's not Angel, you dumbass. Like, it's on hell, you know? And I was like, oh, it's on hell. Oh, okay,
with the full Hispanic accent. Like,
okay,
it's
cool.
On hell.
Okay, cool. Sorry, my bad. So I was calling this dude on hell for like the first like 2 months of me like understanding like his existence. I was like, okay, on hell, my roommate on hell. Oh, my roommate's name is on hell. And I met him for the first time. Before I said my name, he was like, hi, I'm Angel. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, because now I had to retrain my brain into being like, it's not on hell. And I was thinking, oh damn.
My bad, bro. Okay, so you're 74 kilos right now.
74 kilos, yeah.
And you're entering these powerlifting competitions.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
So after I competed at that 74 kg competition, I actually qualified for nationals.
Okay.
Now, this is when I decided to hire my first coach. So I was like, okay, it's time. Like, I've coached myself through 3 of these now. And there's only so much you can do, you know? There's only so much you can keep track of eating, keep track of training, understanding your numbers, and kind of, you know, going after that. So I was like, okay, I think it's time to like get a coach on board and really take me to that next level, right? And initially, we didn't really click in terms of the training style. He made me do a lot of volume, which is a ton of work. So in powerlifting, it's you either lift really heavy, lightweight, or you lift lightweight for a lot of reps. This dude favored...
Wait, you said you lift really heavy, lightweight? What does that mean?
No, you lift really heavy for a low amount of reps.
Okay.
Or you lift really light for a high amount of reps. Now, this dude wanted me to lift really heavy for a really high amount of reps. So I was essentially breaking myself every single time I stepped into the gym.
Why
I
did
was
he do
hitting
that?
like, I mean, every coach has their own training style. And in my mind, I was kind of naive. I was like, okay, this is supposed to be hard. This is supposed to feel like shit. I'm
Mhm.
supposed to go through this pain and come out like a different person or whatever. I was like, it wasn't even in my mind to like question him or do anything about that. So it was going okay. And then a month out from competition, he just ghosted me completely.
Why?
I have no idea.
What
And to
the
this
hell?
day, it was super vague. Like the reason he gave me after nationals was super vague. Like he was going through like some personal issues, but like who isn't, dude? Like keep a check on your clients, right? And I had another friend who was being coached by him. So it wasn't just me. This dude ghosted everyone.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Did you find out what happened to him? Like
And
personally?
I have no idea. I have
You
absolutely
never
no idea.
spoke to him after that?
I never spoke to him after that. I sent him a
Wow.
message with my recap, and
And
that
were
wasn't
you- were
even
you-
that wasn't even the thing, dude. So he had left me. It was a 16-week training block for nationals, and I had done, I would say, about 12 weeks of that training block, and the 12 weeks is completely useless
without the
without
last
the
4.
4-week taper.
And wait,
Right.
were you paying him?
I was paying him.
So,
I was paying him a lot.
So you were
so-
paying him every week or for the whole thing?
I
you
paid him for the whole month.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
and
so
he
I
just
paid him
ghosted
every
you.
single month. Yeah, he just completely ghosted me. So it was crazy, dude. It was like I was so mentally drained at that point. Like this dude had me lifting so much weight. I was so mentally drained, and I wasn't eating. I wasn't training. I was just sleeping in my room for like 3 days. The end of those 3 days, I came out and I was like, okay, look, I have a bunch of great resources on my team, and a bunch of my teammates helped me out.
Okay.
And so either you compete that semester or you coach and you help out the team.
Mhm.
That's how the team worked. So a bunch of my teammates took over that role as my coach
Nice.
and really saved my ass, man. Like they looked at my program, created a taper for me, and eventually nationals was a good experience. Like I went to Ohio.
Can you explain
Um,
what the taper is?
You got to imagine like a top. You remember like those toys that you kind of like wind up,
Yeah.
and then just let it go on the table.
Yeah.
So essentially for 12 weeks, you're winding.
Mhm.
And then eventually at those end of those 12 weeks, those 4 weeks have all of your lifts just skyrocket to singles. So those 4 weeks are when you're lifting your heaviest, but they're supposed to feel great. They're supposed to feel natural, amazing.
You're not taxing your body too
not
much because
taxing
you're
your body at
prepping.
all. Exactly, because
Okay.
you've already done the prep. The 12
Yeah.
weeks is the prep. The 4 weeks is just how you release that energy and then rest to ramp it up again,
Okay.
essentially. So nationals ended up being a fun time. I had a great time competing. It was fun. It was what I'd worked so hard for, and I was just glad
What was
that.
What was the feeling like going for nationals? I'm assuming this is all colleges in the US coming together.
It was
to compete.
collegiate nationals. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
That's
It was-
incredible
dude,
that
it
you
was
got to
crazy.
do that.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. Which is why it kind of took like the sting off a little bit, because I was like, okay, man, I'm here. I can either complain about it or I can just roll with it, have fun. My whole team was there. My whole team was rooting for me. I was rooting for my team. And it was good. It was a good time. However, after nationals, I decided to take a little bit of a step back from
Mhm.
powerlifting, just because for like the past year and a half, I was so mentally drained and injured, right? I had a
Yeah.
shoulder injury, I had my back injury, and I just kind of fell out of love with the sport a little bit, because I don't know, it just wasn't working for me at that time. It left a bad taste in my mouth, and I was kind of just doing my own thing. I went back to bodybuilding a little bit, and I decided in late 2019. Nationals was in April 2019,
Mhm.
and I took like a 6-month break. And around November 2019, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this fire back. And March 2020, nothing is stopping me from competing again. And we all know what happened March 2020. So, man, COVID like broke me a little bit at the start, training wise.
Yeah.
I went from 73 kgs all the way down to 61 in like
Damn.
2 weeks. Because if I don't eat, I just shed the weight like that, just immediately.
I think y'all need to understand that I have seen Jay stuff his mouth with so much
Yeah,
crap
yeah.
trying to gain weight. So for him to lose weight is like it hurts. Like I can tell
it
that it
does.
hurts.
It hurt a lot.
Yeah.
The good thing about it though was the friends that I was staying with in lockdown took me on runs, circuit workouts, doing push-ups, like band work. And I regained my love for working out, man. Like I was that 15-year-old kid in Breach Candy doing his workouts, no agenda, no structure, no pressure, no competitions. It just
For the love
flowed.
of the game.
Yeah, straight up.
Nice,
So
man.
shout out Malik for taking me on those runs. Even though I didn't end up doing the runs. I just stayed home and like no, I didn't end up doing the runs eventually. I just stayed home and like did bodyweight squats, bodyweight push-ups, all that stuff. So yeah, that was cool. That kind of like gave me like my love for lifting back.
Nice.
And I needed that.
Yeah.
Because I kind of forgot why I started and it kind of became like a burden.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was it. And now I'm just, kind of having fun again.
Yeah, dude. Like I'm proud of you, man.
Yeah.
We had so the last time Jay was in the US, he was actually in New York with me. The last time we were together.
Yeah.
And we had a discussion where Jay was kind of feeling a little aimless.
I was.
Right?
Yeah.
And I told you like the only thing I've seen you love so much has been fitness.
Yeah.
So you need to pursue that by any means necessary.
Yeah.
3 months later, I find out he's come back to Bombay. He shifted to Bombay. Yeah. I mean, I knew he shifted back. I'm not gonna find out. But he started training people, and within like a few months, bro, it was booming. Like you had like 15, 20 clients.
Yeah.
I was proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Very, very proud of you.
Yeah, that conversation actually meant a lot to me, dude. Because I was pretty aimless at that point, and it helped me to kind of recenter and refocus. And that's really what I want to say to a lot of people is that when the thing you love starts getting a little tough or you're finding it hard to kind of see the road ahead, just bring it back to why you started, have fun with it, and everything else will flow. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just having fun with it, and we got some big plans in the future. So
that's good advice, man.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you like that clip, click here to watch the full episode and click here to subscribe.